Hello everyone. Welcome to the series of GATE Aerospace previous year questions. In this video, we are going to talk about GATE's Aerospace 2011 paper and the aptitude portion that we are going to cover. As you all know, there are going to be 10 questions of aptitude covering a total of 15 marks. The first 5 questions will be of 1 mark each, and the next 5 questions will be of 2 marks each. So let's start with the 1 mark questions first, and then we'll be talking about 2 mark questions in the later part of the video. So the first question says, choose the word from the options given below that is most nearly opposite in meaning of the given word. So the given word is difference, which actually means polite submission and respect. So we are supposed to find out a word which is opposite to this meaning. Now, if I talk about the meaning of individual words, the meaning of the first word aversion is plain dislike. That of the second word, resignation, is it's the act of resigning, to resign from a particular place. So this is a well-known word. And as you can see from the meaning of this word itself, that it does not set the particular definition. Suspicion is something where it's a feeling wherein the thought or something is possible. Something is likely possible or something which is true. So we have that feeling that is known as suspicion. Contempt again is a feeling that a person or a thing is something is worthless or it is below or beneath consideration. So as you can see, if you compare it from the option, suspicion and resignation are out of the context. Aversion, it's plain dislike, or contempt, which is worthless or beneath consideration. And since if you talk about the most nearly opposite, contempt stays correct because it's opposite of something which is submission and then worthless. So submission, we can say it's a person. Difference is related to a person who is ready to submit. He's providing respect and is worth respecting, while contempt is related to a person which is worthless or beneath consideration. Moving on to the next question. Choose the most appropriate words from the options given below to complete the following sentence. We lost confidence in him because he never blank the grandiose promises he had made. The options are delivered, delivered upon, forgot, or reneged. Now, if I start with option number C and option number D, this word actually does not fit context. Why it is not fitting the context? Because he has not forgotten. He actually never delivered it. So the forgot cannot be here. Similarly, if we talk about reneged on, it's related to a it's related to a person who never goes back on a promise. However, the meaning of the sentence is quite different because he actually, the person whom context this is talking about, he has actually went back on his promise. So this is again out of context and it is incorrect. Now the answer can be either delivered or delivered on. Delivered on might be used if it was actually delivered. So if there was this sentence which talked about because he delivered on the grandiose promises he made, then this might have been correct, but it is incorrect because he never delivered. So option A becomes the correct choice because it was actually not delivered. Okay, moving on to the next question. Choose a word or phrase that best completes the sentence below. Dash in the frozen waste of artists take special equipment. So uh, there are 4 options. Survival, these 2 options goes out of the context. They are not appropriate for the sentence. So they are eliminated. Now, either we can have to survive or surviving. If I talk about surviving can also not be used because no noun is present in the sentence. So this is incorrect. Now the next answer only becomes to survive. This word is in the form of, is in infinite form. However, using this word might require modifying the sentence in such a way that uh, to survive in the frozen waste of Arctic, it takes special equipment. So this kind of modification will be required in the sentence to use it properly. Now let's see the next question. The next question says, in how many ways 3 scholarships can be awarded to 4 applicants when each applicant can receive any number of scholarship? So I have 4 applicants in that 3 scholarship. So let's say this is scholarship number 1, scholarship number 2, scholarship number 3. So first scholarship can be given to 4 applicants, second can be given to 4 applicants, third can be given to 4 applicants. If I want to find out the total number of ways, it will become 64. So there are 64 different ways on which 3 scholarship can be awarded to 4 applicants, and this becomes your correct answer. Okay, let's see the next question. Choose the most appropriate word from the option given below to complete the following sentence. The dash of evidence was on the side of plaintiff, since all but one witness testified his story was correct. Now, let's talk about the meaning of these words before we actually answer the word. Paucity actually means something which is small in amount. Then propensity means it's a tendency to do something. Preponderance means it's prevalence, something which is prevalent. And accuracy, you all know it's about correctness. So the option over here can be accurate. The accuracy of evidence was on the side of plaintiff since all but one witness testified that his story was correct. Now, since only one witness testified, accuracy cannot be used. Rather than, we can say prevalence of evidence was on his side of plaintiff because one witness testified that his story was correct. So this becomes your correct answer, as prevalency of evidence suits this particular sentence. Okay, let's see the next question. The next questions are going to be of 2 marks each. This is the first question, which is in which given that if 2y plus 1 whole upon y plus 2 is less than 1, then which of the following alternative gives the correct range of y? So let's try to see the equation. It becomes 2y plus 1 upon y plus 2. Sorry, y plus 2 is less than 1. This on solving becomes 2y plus 1 less than y plus 2. Or if I take the y on left hand side, it becomes 2y minus y less than, if I take 1 on the right hand side, it becomes 2 minus 1. So this gives you y less than 1. Now this is one of the range given. This eliminates option number A. I have option number B, C and D available. We'll start with option number B first. So if I take B, let's say I assume that y equals to minus 2. Then what happens to the expression? It becomes 2 minus 2 plus 1 upon minus 2 plus 2, which is infinity. So this is not correct. And if I take any number less than, sorry, greater than minus 2, let's say minus 1, this becomes 2 minus 1 plus 1 upon minus 1 plus 2. If you solve this, it becomes minus 2 plus 1, that is minus 1 upon 1, which is less than 1. Which is less than 1. So this may seem to be correct. However, it's better to get it cross-checked with y equals to minus 3, wherein if I assume it to be like this, so I'll get minus 3 plus 1 upon minus 3 plus 2. So this becomes minus 6 plus 1, that is minus 5 upon minus 1, which is 5, which is greater than 1. So this is incorrect. The same thing you can try with option number D, y equals to minus 4. So over here it becomes minus 2, or sorry, 2 into minus 4 plus 1 upon minus 4 plus 2, which is minus 8 plus 1 minus 7 upon minus 2, that is 3.5. Again, it is greater than 1. So option D is also correct. So substituting the values, we can find out that this range is correct range of y for the given expression. Now, moving on to the next question. A student attempted to solve a quadratic equation of in x twice. However, in the first attempt, he incorrectly wrote the constant term and ended up with the roots 4, 3. In the second attempt, he incorrectly wrote down the coefficient of x and got the roots as 3, 2. Based on the above information, the roots of the quadratic equation are, so we are supposed to find out the roots of quadratic equation. I'll start with the equation of quadratic equation. So we know that the quadratic equation is given as ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. So from here, I can write down that x square plus b by a x plus c by a is equals to 0. Now, if x1 and x2 are roots of the above equation, then from the above equation, we know the relation that x1 plus x2 are going to be equal to minus b by a, and x1 into x2 is going to be equal to c by a. So basically, this is the coefficient of x and this is constant term. So I'll take two cases. In the first case, the constant was incorrect. However, the coefficient of x were correct, right? So the coefficient of x were correct. That basically means x1 plus x2 equals to minus b by a. This equation was correct in the case 1. So I can write down that x1 plus x2 was nothing, but it was 4 plus 3, that is 7. This is equation number 1. Case 2 was wherein the coefficient of x were incorrect. However, roots, there is no mention of the constant term. So I'll assume that the constant term was correct. That is x1 into x2 was correct. So this becomes 3 into 2, that is 6. Right, because as you see, in this case, the roots were 4, 3, and in this case, the roots were 3, 2. So I got equation number 1 and equation number 2. If I try to solve them, I'll take it to the next slide. So I got equation as x1 plus x2 is equals to 7 and x1 into x2 is equals to 6. So let's try to find it out. I'll get from the equation 2, let me take equation 2, I'll get x1 equals to 6 by x2. Right, I'll substitute it to equation number 1, which gives me 6 by x2 plus x2. Let me make it correct. 6 by x2 plus x2 is equals to 7, or I can write it down as 6 plus x2 square is equals to 7x2. Now this equation in simple quadratic terms can be written as x2 square plus 7x2 plus 6 is equals to 0. Splitting the midterm gives x2 square minus 6x2 minus x2 plus 6 is equals to 0, or x2 minus 6 minus 1 x2 minus 6 is equals to 0. This gives two values of x2, 1 and 6. Right. On substitution, I can also find out the value of x1, which also turns out to be 6, 1. So anyhow, the answer is going to be 6, 1 or 1, 6. Now you can check it in the options. And if you see in the options, 6, 1 is there. So 6, 1 becomes your correct answer. Right. So this kind of question require the knowledge of quadratic equation, their roots, and the formulas like this. Moving forward, let's see the next question. Okay, this question is related to logical reasoning. So I'll just explain you that L, M, and N are waiting in a queue meant for children to enter the zoo. There are 5 children between L and M. There are 8 children between M and N. If there are 3 children ahead of N and 21 children behind L, what is the minimum number of children in the queue? So first of all, we are supposed to find out the sequence in which they are standing. This L, M, and N are standing. And then we are supposed to find out the minimum number of children that are possible in the queue. So what can be the possible combination? So I can write down the possible combination as M, L, N, M, N, L. These are two. And if I take L ahead of it, then it becomes N and L and M. And if I take N ahead of that, so this becomes L, M, N. Okay, so these are things. The blank in between shows that there's something in between them. I don't know what. Okay, so I'll try to reject the options which are not possible based on the uh, conditions. Okay, so if there are five children between L and M, so there are five children between L and M, right? And there are five children between L and M. So this entire thing is five. L and M 5, and this entire thing is 5. This is 5, this is 5. Okay. Now, there are 8 children between M and N. So, if there are 8 children between M and N. Okay. Now, if there are 5 children between M and L, and there are 8 children between M and N, this case is not possible. Again, over here it is possible, but this case also is not possible. Right. So, again, this is not possible. This is also rejected. Now there are 3 children ahead of N. If there are 3 children ahead of N, so if I say 3 children are ahead of N, over here there are already a lot of children ahead of N. So this case is not possible, right? If I say only 3 children are ahead of N, this case is not possible. Even if talk about this one, only 3 children ahead of N, this is also not possible. So I rejected the 4 cases and only 2 cases remain, this one and this one. And I need to check out which of 2 of them are correct. So let's try to see. Okay. The first one is N, L, M. The second is N, M, L. Now, if you notice, these are only 2 possible combinations. So I can get either maximum number of children possible or the minimum number of children possible. Now let's try to see. We know that there are 3 children ahead of N, right? I'll just, yes, there are 3 children ahead of N. So this thing is perfect. So I'll just write down there are 3 children ahead of N. This is one is clear, or let me change the color to make it more understandable. Right. So there are 3 children ahead of N. This thing is clear. Now I'll try to satisfy the conditions over here. Again from the beginning. So let me start from the beginning. Yes. The 3 children, this condition is satisfied. Now there are 21 children behind L. So if I say that 21 children behind L, so there are total of 21 children over here. I'll write down there are 21 children behind, 21 behind this. Okay. Now let's see the first condition again. There are 5 children in between L and M. So there are 5 children in between L and M. There are 5 children in between L and M. That's given. There are 8 children between M and N. So if there are 8 children between M and N, 5 are already there. This becomes 6. So 2 over here, it becomes 8. Right? Because there are total of 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8. This is how it becomes. Again, there are 8 children between M and N. So if there are 8 children, it becomes 8 over here. Now again, I'll just correct the first part. This, let's say this is the first part, this is the second part. So I'll correct the first part. We know that there are 21 children behind L. So 5 is there. 6 will become M. So 5 plus 1, 6 is already there. And 21 minus 6 becomes 15. So this becomes 15. So from here, I get 2 cases. The first case is there are 3 children ahead of N. Then there are 2 children. Then there are L. There are 5 children. There are M. And there are 15 children. This is case number 1. The case number 2 is there are 3 children ahead of N. Then there are 8. Then there are M. Then there are 5. Then L and 21. So if we sum them up, so summing them will be something like 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 15. So this becomes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 5, 12, 13. 13 and 15 becomes 28. Again, 3 plus 1 plus 8 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 21. Over here, we are going to count N, M, and L as children only because they are in the queue. This becomes 21 plus 1, 22, plus 5, 27, 28, 36, 37, 40. So from here, it can be concluded that this is the minimum number of children in the queue, and this becomes the maximum number of children in the queue. So if we check the options, the option 28 is going to be correct because we have been asked minimum number. However, if the maximum numbers are asked, you can also solve the question and find out the answer. This is typically a long question, and this justifies the total of 2 marks. Let's see the next question. Okay, there are 4 archers, P, Q, R, and S try to hit the bullseye during a tournament consisting of 7 rounds. As illustrated in the figure below, a player receives 10 points for hitting the bullseye, 5 for hitting within the inner circle, and 1 point for within the outer circle. The final scores received by the player during the tournaments are listed in below. The most accurate and the most consistent player during the tournament are respectively. We are supposed to find out. So let's see. For all these options, I'll just make another table. Let's say this is P, Q, R, and S. I'll make a table of how many times P has scored 10 points, how many times P has scored 5 points, and how many times P has scored 1 point. So let's try to make this table out of the given data. So if you see, for the 10 points, P has scored it 2 times. For the 5, we have scored it 2 times. 1, we have scored it 1, 2, 3 times. For our satisfaction, we'll make a total so that we don't make mistakes. So it is 7 because there are 7 rounds. For Q, if we talk about 10, it has aimed for 10 3 times. For 5 again, it was 3 times. 1 is there for 1 time. Again, a total of 7. For R, 10 is once, 5 is once. So rest will be 1, and that is 5 times, becoming a total of 7. For S, 10 is twice, 5 is once, and 1 is there for 4 times. So again becomes 7. Now I'm supposed to find out 2 things. First of all, accurate. Accurate basically means hitting 10 for most times. So this will be Q because only Q is there, which is hitting 10 for 3 times. So this is, I can say, accurate, most accurate comparatively. Consistency. Consistency is hitting the same place repeatedly. So I need to check out how many times or which one has hit. No, if you see this table, you can see that R is the one which has hit 1 for the 5 times. So I can say that this is the most consistent one. So this will become R. Over here, you can also find out the answer of this using standard deviation, but that one is a longer method and it will take a little bit of time. So I believe this kind of answer will save you time, and again, it's related to logic. One thing that is supposed to be noted over here is consistency is not related to accuracy. Right. So a person can be inaccurate, but still consistent. So the answer will be accuracy is Q and consistency is R. So if you see the option, okay, B1 will be the correct answer over here, not C. This is incorrectly marked. So Q is the most accurate one and R is the consistent one. So this is going to be a correct answer. Right. And let's see the last question. Okay, so last question says that nimbus clouds are dark and rigged. Stratus clouds appear dull in color and cover the entire sky. Cirrus clouds are thin and delicate, whereas cumulus clouds look like cotton balls. So they have described 4 different types of clouds, and from the passage, it can be inferred from the passage that we are supposed to find out which of the statement is true. A cumulus cloud on the ground is called fog. So there is no mention of fog, so it is incorrect. It is easy to predict the weather by studying the clouds. We actually, there is no mention of weather as well. So this is not mentioned, so this is incorrect. The clouds are generally of very different shapes, size, and mass. Okay, this can be said correct. There are four basic cloud types. Okay, this is not mentioned that there are only four. There can be many other as well. And from this paragraph, it is not mentioned that there are only four basic. So this becomes incorrect. Hence, your correct answer becomes clouds are generally very different shapes, size, and masses. Right. This kind of questions basically require a little bit of logic. Okay. And this is how you can solve the question. This is a 2-mark question. So again, an easy score that can be grabbed. So we have covered 10 questions for the aptitude section. This series is dedicated to our guru and mentor, late Sri Dr. E. Natarajan sir. He was the Dean and CEG, Anna University, Chennai. Thank you so much for watching. Uh, you can also subscribe, like, and share this channel to watch such videos again. For online and offline classes related to GATE, on GATE's Aerospace Foundation, you can contact on the number given below. You can also appear to test series, which is available free of cost on the website link given below and in the description as well. This test series is meant for the students who are preparing for GATE, and it's free of cost. So just take an advantage of this and try to uh, appear for the test series to increase your efficiency. Thank you.